As we delve into the unsettling involvement of African soldiers in Russia's war against Ukraine, we encounter a disturbing and complex phenomenon that raises significant ethical, legal, and humanitarian concerns. This issue is not merely a geopolitical anomaly, it is a troubling tapestry of coercion, exploitation, and profound consequences for both the individuals involved and their home countries. Reports indicate that thousands of migrants and foreign students from Africa have been coerced into fighting for Russia. These individuals come from various African nations, including Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, and Uganda, and are often forced into military service through a combination of threats and financial incentives. The gravity of their situation underscores the need for a thorough examination of the recruitment tactics employed and the broader implications for international human rights. One of the primary tactics employed by Russian officials is the threat of visa non-renewal. African students and young workers in Russia are frequently told that their visas will not be extended unless they agree to join the military. This form of coercion places them in an untenable position, forcing them to choose between participating in a foreign conflict or facing deportation. Such practices highlight severe power imbalances and the exploitation of vulnerable populations. Moreover, in addition to visa threats, there are instances of outright forced recruitment, where Africans on work visas have been detained and presented with the grim choice of fighting for Russia or being deported. These coercive methods are a stark violation of individual autonomy and international law. Despite the coercive methods, financial incentives also play a significant role in recruiting African soldiers. Recruits are offered a sign-in bonus of $2,000 and a monthly allowance of $2,200, sums that are substantial for many of these individuals. Additionally, they are promised health insurance and the prospect of obtaining Russian passports for themselves and their families. These promises, while enticing, are often part of a broader strategy to lure individuals into a conflict they may not fully understand or support. The juxtaposition of financial allurements with coercive tactics paints a grim picture of exploitation and manipulation, further complicating the ethical landscape of this recruitment process. The recruitment methods used to enlist African soldiers raise significant ethical and legal issues. The use of coercion and threats to force foreign nationals into military service is not only unethical but also potentially illegal under international law. Such practices violate the basic human rights of individuals and undermine the principles of consent and voluntary service. The international community must scrutinize these actions and consider the broader implications for human rights and global governance. The ethical ramifications extend beyond individual cases, reflecting a systematic abuse of power and a disregard for international norms. The living conditions and experiences of African soldiers in Ukraine remain largely undocumented. However, we can infer that they face significant challenges based on the coercive recruitment methods. Many of these soldiers likely did not voluntarily join the Russian forces, which could negatively impact their morale and overall experience. Being thrust into a high-intensity conflict zone, often without adequate training or preparation, likely exacerbates the difficulties they face on the front lines. The psychological and physical toll on these individuals is immense, and their plight highlights the broader humanitarian crises that arise from such exploitative practices. African soldiers are part of a broader strategy by Russia to recruit foreign fighters, operating alongside regular Russian army units and specialized groups such as the Storm Z units. This integration suggests that their role may be similar to other mercenary groups, such as the Wagner Group, which has a notorious reputation for its involvement in various conflicts worldwide. The strategic use of foreign fighters underscores Russia's complex military tactics and raises questions about the ethical implications of such practices. This broader strategy reflects a calculated approach to warfare that leverages both coercion and incentive to bolster military efforts. The recruitment of African soldiers by Russia could have profound long-term impacts on their home countries. One significant consequence is the potential for a brain drain, as many of the recruits are students or young workers, meaning their absence could result in a loss of educated and skilled individuals, which is detrimental to their home country's development. Additionally, diplomatic tensions are another potential outcome, as the recruitment of citizens from African countries to fight in Ukraine could strain diplomatic relations between these nations and both Russia and Ukraine. Such tensions could have broader geopolitical implications, affecting international relations and cooperation. The social and economic consequences for the families and communities left behind cannot be overstated, highlighting the far-reaching impacts of these recruitment practices. Upon returning to their home countries, these soldiers may bring back combat experience and potentially destabilizing influences. The reintegration of individuals who have been involved in a foreign conflict poses significant security concerns, as they may carry with them both psychological trauma and combat skills that could be misused. This issue underscores the importance of considering the long-term implications of coercive recruitment practices. The psychological well-being of these soldiers and their potential impact on domestic stability in their home countries are critical issues that require attention. Addressing these concerns involves both humanitarian efforts and strategic planning to mitigate potential risks. The forced recruitment of foreign nationals raises serious ethical and legal concerns, drawing international scrutiny to the countries involved. Human rights organizations and international bodies may investigate these practices, potentially leading to condemnation and calls for accountability. The scrutiny is essential for ensuring that such practices do not go unchecked and that the rights of vulnerable populations are protected. The international community must play a proactive role in addressing these abuses and advocating for the protection of individuals coerced into military service. This global response is crucial for upholding international law and human rights standards. While specific information about African prisoners of war in Ukraine is limited, insights can be drawn from the experiences of other foreign fighters. Many foreign POWs captured by Ukraine report being tricked into joining the Russian army with promises of high wages or non-combat roles. Some claim they were unaware of their military involvement until after signing Russian-language paperwork. These POWs often find themselves deployed to frontline positions despite lacking military experience, highlighting the deceptive practices used in recruitment. The experiences of these POWs reveal the broader pattern of exploitation and deception employed by Russian forces. Ukraine reportedly treats foreign POWs the same as Russian POWs, holding them in the same detention centers. There is an expressed interest in returning these POWs to their home countries, reflecting a humane approach to their treatment amid the conflict. This treatment aligns with international humanitarian standards and underscores Ukraine's commitment to the humane treatment of prisoners. The policy of equitable treatment for all POWs, regardless of nationality, is a crucial aspect of maintaining ethical standards in conflict situations. It also reflects Ukraine's broader strategic and humanitarian goals in the ongoing conflict. The prisoner of war exchange process between Ukraine and Russia is fraught with challenges. The exchanges have been irregular, with long periods between swaps, and often occur slower than desired. Discrepancies in the reported numbers of POWs exchanged by each side further complicate the process, along with verification issues due to the inability to independently confirm claims. Political complications also arise, with accusations that Russia has refused to continue exchanges in an attempt to turn Ukrainian families of POWs against their own authorities. These complications highlight the intricate and multifaceted nature of the POW exchange process in the context of this conflict. Logistical and safety concerns are highlighted by incidents such as the crash of a Russian Il-76 plane, allegedly carrying Ukrainian POWs for an exchange. These incidents raise significant questions about the safety and reliability of the exchange processes. Negotiation complexities often require mediation by third parties, indicating the difficulty in direct negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. There are also concerns about the condition of returned POWs, with reports of injuries, illnesses, and mistreatment during captivity. These concerns underscore the humanitarian challenges involved in managing POW exchanges during a protracted and intense conflict. The scale of exchanges remains limited, with a desire for larger, all-for-all exchanges proving challenging to implement. The complexities of achieving such comprehensive exchanges are underscored by the logistical, political, and strategic difficulties involved. These complexities highlight the diplomatic, logistical, and humanitarian considerations involved in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. As the conflict continues, the intricacies of the POW exchange process remain a critical aspect of the broader geopolitical landscape, requiring ongoing attention and effort from the international community. The involvement of African soldiers in Russia's war against Ukraine is a multifaceted issue with far-reaching implications. The coercive recruitment practices employed by Russia raise significant ethical and legal concerns, highlighting the exploitation of vulnerable populations. The long-term impacts on African countries, from brain drain to diplomatic tensions and social consequences, are profound. As the conflict continues, it is crucial to bring attention to these issues and advocate for the rights and welfare of those caught in the crossfire. By shedding light on these practices and the broader geopolitical context, we can better understand the human toll of this conflict and work towards solutions that uphold human rights and international law. The stories of these African soldiers are a stark reminder of the far-reaching impacts of war and the importance of protecting the most vulnerable among us. Addressing these issues involves both humanitarian efforts and strategic planning to mitigate potential risks. The international community must play a proactive role in addressing these abuses and advocating for the protection of individuals coerced into military service. This global response is crucial for upholding international law and human rights standards. The plight of these individuals and the broader implications for their home countries underscore the urgent need for comprehensive and compassionate responses to such complex and troubling phenomena.